It's a great joy to be with you on this Monday, and I trust that God is blessing. We're rejoicing with our Bible school last week. We had just a tremendous group of people, a number of folks saved, a number of adults, and then on Sunday we had several families back, and so we are looking forward to all that God is going to do. Tonight we're going to be having our major follow-up, and if you think about it, we'd appreciate your prayer as we want to reach these dear folks with the truth. I want to look today at 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. In this passage, he's dealing with some of the error that had come into the church and how that some, because of their wrong view of the coming of the Lord, were not working. And in the midst of that, we have a verse that sometimes we quote, and that's verse 13 of chapter 3. But ye brethren, be not weary in well-doing. Now, in the context here, it's dealing with the need to be diligent and also the need for leadership to exhort others so that they would be biblical in their work ethic and do what God has called them to do. But I think we can take this in a much more general way. One of the issues that we face in life is to begin to get weary in what we're doing, and that can discourage us. Same thing you find in Galatians chapter 6 when it talks about the fact that if we sow to the flesh, we'll of the flesh reap corruption, and we're not to be weary, but instead we will reap if we faint not. And so you have the same kind of idea that God wants us to not allow ourselves to have the natural human perspective of getting tired of what we're doing, getting maybe frustrated or being overwhelmed or whatever it is, or just doing the same thing regularly. Sometimes we can just get weary in that responsibility. But as believers, we need to realize that in the spiritual realm of really accomplishing what God wants us to accomplish, we need constant spiritual energy. One of the laws of science is the second law of thermodynamics. Everything degenerates without energy put into it so that it can instead go the opposite way. Well, that's true in the spiritual realm too. If we are not spiritually empowered by the Spirit, but if we're doing good work, if we're ministering, whatever it is, but if we're doing it through the power of the flesh, it will inevitably go down. We will get frustrated, and we will get weary, we will get discouraged, and we'll want to do something else. But if we're constantly walking with God, convinced what we're doing is the will of God, realizing that it is right for us to stay very regular in what God has given to us to accomplish, if we look to the Lord in the midst of that kind of an attitude, we will, instead of degenerating, we will be edified, we will have new energy, and we'll be able to accomplish even greater things in the days ahead. I tell you, there's nothing like faithfulness. People that stay right at it, keep going, do not allow themselves to tail off and then do something else, but instead, if it's God's will, you keep on keeping on. You don't quit. My mother was very strong about that. You don't quit. You keep doing what you're supposed to do. And so for us as believers, we need to realize that we will begin to get discouraged and we will get weary if we are not energized by our walk with God and by allowing Him to work. And so today, if you are a little down, you're a little bit weary of what you're doing, I want to encourage you to just check on your spiritual condition. Are you really depending on the Lord? Have you had time with Him? Are you looking to Him for His power, for His vision, for His perspective? If not, then that's what the problem is. And so today, right now, you can have that spiritual energy come into your heart, and you can, instead of being weary, you can be encouraged in the work of the Lord.